So last night I was just playing around and like grading the footage that I shot with Jay Larry, and I was looking at the footage that I shot that was mainly lit by the LED panel that I made. And I'm looking at it, and it looked like there was like a slight flicker when I shot in slow motion. So I was like, that's. I tested it and I didn't see anything before, so I'm like, that's kind of odd. And then I go back to another scene that I shot in slow motion that wasn't lit by my light panel, my LED panel, and there was flicker. So then I look at closely, and there is some atrocious fixed pattern noise. Now, fixed pattern noise is like, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a weird, to me, it's vertical lines in my footage that is just all over the image. It's not as crazy as I'm making it sound, but it is still disgusting. I know that Ursa Minis have had a lot of issues with that. When you would light something or underexpose things, it just doesn't make sense of why it would do that. I never had any issues with that in the past, but I'm not sure if that was because I had the firmware 4.0 or before, because I remember I shot at an event, like a fashion show. The runway, the actual models, they were properly exposed, maybe a little bit under, but everything else around them was completely underexposed. So then I would push the footage one stop or even 1.5 stops in Resolve, and still I didn't get any fixed pattern noise. I don't remember if I was on 4.0 or not, so I know that there's some fixes, so I'm gonna have to look at that. But it's very frustrating because I'm talking about or listening to a bunch of DPs on podcasts and stuff like that. All of them are saying like they want to get it right in camera as much as possible, the look that they're going for, so that you can do as minor post work as possible. And that's really what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, I really like this image. This is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And it's because in the image, he was backlit by his window. And so I was trying to find that happy medium of not having the window completely overexposed, but still being able to see him just a little bit. Sure, he's under, but you're still able to see. It's just that look that I was really going for. So yeah, so that caused me to get a bunch of fixed pattern noise like on all of my footage, and except for the outside scene, the delivery scene. So I know that there's some workarounds. I'm gonna have to go and see if how well it works. People said it does work well, so I'm not too concerned about it, but it's still another step that I have to take in order to get the image of what I'm looking for, which is really annoying. So I'm gonna look into, I know I'm upgrading into the 4.6K, and I'm gonna look into to see if anybody has that issue with the 4.6K, and if that's the case, I may switch off of Ursa, which is, I don't know, which could be bad, but I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. So I do know a guy that has the 4.6K, but he's in Miami, so maybe next time when I'm in Miami, I can test that to see if he has any fixed pattern noise, or if I can see if there's any firmware updates for my camera that fixes the fixed pattern noise or something like that. I remember looking at one way to fix the fixed pattern noise. They were talking about how Red cameras automatically do them in camera, but you can manually set it on or off. And then there's like, I forgot what it was called exactly. I'll tell you later of how to really fix it. There's a special term, it's called like black levels or something like that. And there's a way to do it in Resolve, and then there's a way to do it in After Effects by like extracting fixed pattern noise from a clip and then like applying the difference on top of the clip that has fixed pattern noise, because then that's the opposite and it basically cancels it out. But today, I'm gonna eat food. One thing I would say that sucks about living in Florida is that room temperature things are a little bit warmer than what I'm used to, because in this house we keep it around 78. If it gets cold outside, sometimes it gets a little bit colder in here. We keep it at 78, so I like drinking room temperature water, but since it's 78 in here, it's a little too warm for me. And that's the same thing with like bananas. Bananas at room temperature here are like a little warmer than what I'm used to, and so it just isn't that good to me. So I've gotten in the habit of drinking colder water. To me, it was easier to drink room temperature water around 72 degrees than cold water, but since it is hotter here, I guess it feels a lot better to drink cold water. But then the bananas are warm too. So I think I remember putting the bananas in the fridge next time to eat that. So it's time to work out, and I completely forgot that my water bottle is moldy. And it's not a lot of mold. You can't see anything in here. This is the water bottle I use. It's just like a large cooler type of thing. And there's no mold in here. All I put is water. You can't see that. All I put is water in there. But I remember realizing, like, I opened the lid and I started drinking from it, and it just kind of smelled funny. I was just like, oh, whatever. Finished my workout, and I looked closely. In here, I'm not sure if you can see any of that, but there's a little bit of mold, like, on that ring. So I know this is actually a common thing because you don't really realize it, because if there's just a little bit of moisture on here and you close it completely and you just let it sit there, there's just water that's just sealed in there, and it's just sitting there, and it's just going to naturally grow mold. So, and I know people will usually clean the water bottle. A lot of people don't go like thoroughly, and plus you're just putting in water, so like why do you need to like clean it? You know, I know other people will be like, well, of course you got to clean it, blah blah blah, whatever. But it happens, mold happens. So all I'm gonna do, I looked online, some people just says like soak it in bleach. That's all I'm gonna do is just soak this top piece in bleach, and then I'll just clean this lid around here. But that's the only mold that's in there, so I'm gonna do that, and it should be clean, and then rinse it thoroughly, and then I'm off to work out. What I ended up actually doing was grabbing a toothpick to scrape off the mold in the ring, but then I realized that I can take the ring out. And so I took the ring out and just washed that separately, and both things just individually, so I'll be able to put the ring back in. That just leads me back to while I was washing everything, I remember when I used to drink, I used to take empty milk jugs and fill them with water, you know, clean them out, fill them with water, and drink it to drink a gallon a day. But I remember when I first was doing it, like the first time, or like the first couple times when I get the jug, I remember my water tasting kind of like milk, and I didn't like that, so then I would wash the jug extra with extra soap, and I didn't clean it out too well, and then my water tasted like soap. It's just like a weird taste. Like, I don't want my water tasting like anything. So you just got to make sure you rinse everything thoroughly and make sure everything, no soap or anything is on it. So, and that's what I did. Of course, you don't want to drink any bleach or anything like that. So for today's workout, I just do the recommended routine on Bodyweight Fitness on Reddit. And that consists of a warm-up, which is shoulder rolls. Well, first I go for a run to get my heart rate up and get blood flowing and stuff. It is hot today too. It's really humid compared to the last couple of days. But then after the run, I go into shoulder rolls, scapular shrugs, camel bends. You're supposed to do straight arm overhead pull downs, like band work, like with a big rubber band, but I don't have a band. I actually need to get one. So just a bunch of like arm stretches that I did. Leg swings, and then wrist mobility exercises. What I've realized, what I've tried to do in the past was I would warm up the same way, but I would go straight into like trying to do straight up handstand, and that was just really putting way too much pressure on my wrists, because my wrists are not used to being bent like that and having the pressure on there. So I'm just doing a slow progression into actually trying to hold a real handstand, which is you're just holding on a wall. And then after the wrist mobility, going to the plank, side plank, both sides, reverse plank, hollow hold, arch, and then squat jumps, and then the wall plank, which is just the handstand. And the typical spot that I usually do it at is on a wall, but there are like bikes there and like kids over there, so then I just picked a tree and then I did it on a tree. I realized on the first one I was probably a little bit too far back. I'm not sure. I feel like I am progressing in handstands though, because as I'm on the wall, I try to slightly kick off and just hold my balance there without touching the wall at all. And I've been progressing over the past couple of days, so that's nice. After that, then go parallel bar support. There are no parallel bars at this park, so I just find 2 park benches and just hold it for a minute. Then you go into the actual workout, which is pull up, rest 1.5 to 3 minutes, and then parallel bar dips. And before, when I was at my peak, I was able to do pull-ups with an L-sit, but now I can't even do 8 pull-ups on the 3rd set. So on that last set of pull-ups I actually did, I ended on 6, and then I just go back a progression, so I do negative pull-ups to hit my 8 reps. And then the dips are fine. I wish I could go a little bit deeper, but I don't know if I should, just due to range of motion. And then after that, you do the set of deep step-ups and then the L-sit progression. Right now I'm on holding 1 foot up each side for 30 seconds, and then I do one on the left side, one on the right side, and then I do
both feet on the ground. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm at on my progression. Once I actually get a gym membership, I'll do squats, deadlifts, and power cleans. After that, then I go into the push-up / row progression, and I'm doing the pseudo planche push-up, where I try to just lean far forward as possible, putting pressure on that, just like my shoulder, I guess, and then just try to do push-ups. And it really is complicated, but I do need to get rings, because that's going to help for the horizontal row progression, and that's what I do on the swing that you can see. And then after that, I just cool down, stretch upper body, lower body, neck, back, all of that good stuff, and get a good cool down in. So that's pretty much it for the workout that I do. I'm doing that 3 times a week, so it's like a full body. Once I really get in the gym, I can really focus on legs by doing the squat, deadlift, or power clean. A lot of people have good results with this. I used to work out in the gym like 6 days a week for like 3 hours at a time, and I'm not looking to do that anymore. I just want to get a good workout in. So that's what was for today. Now I have to go get my mom beer at the grocery store. So I got home and I went straight to editing. I know I didn't eat anything. What ended up happening was I had some edits to do for a client, and I just sat down and just got in the zone. That's pretty much what happened. If I'm like half tired kind of thing, that's what usually happens, is that I just kind of just zone out and just get work done. So now I'm also exporting proxies, so while I eat, so these are just the proxies going through exporting, just so that I can work with, since I always shoot raw on my Ursa. Now it's time to eat, and my mom made dinner, so let's go see what she made. Finished editing for today after I ate. It was a little bit later into the night, but now I'm gonna actually watch The Hateful Eight. I'm not a huge Tarantino fan. I respect his work. I do like some of his films, but I have to be prepared, or like prepare myself to watch his films, because they're just different. There's a lot of aspects of his films that I really do love, but just overall, I just feel like some of his films just drag on. Like Kill Bill, it was like I loved it, and there were parts that I just hated. But The Hateful Eight is a movie that I have been wanting to watch, just hearing a lot about a lot of stuff that went on. I actually saw the ending of it one time, and I didn't understand what was going on, so I mean, it doesn't even matter. I don't know what happened. I just know a bunch of crazy stuff was happening. So that's what I'm going to watch, but I'm going to actually eat something right now, too. I actually have these 2 pieces of chicken. They're bone-in chicken thighs, I think they are. And I baked them. I baked them a couple days ago, so I'm going to have those 2. If I get hungry, I'll figure something out else. I will figure something else to eat. But those are what I'm going to eat. I could have some more. Probably will. I was at the store when I bought my mom beer, but I forgot to buy bread. I should have like peanut butter and jelly. Well, we have bread, but sometimes it's expired and that kind of stuff, so I'd have to take a look at that, because peanut butter and jellies are my thing. So I actually ended up not watching The Hateful Eight because I was a little bit tired, and I just decided to watch a couple of YouTube videos. Like people I'm subscribed to, just try to stay up to date, Film Riot, a cinematography database, and so on and so forth, and a couple of vloggers and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna catch up on some sleep. I'll probably watch Hateful Eight tomorrow, but I don't know. I'll see it. I'm gonna go to bed though. See you tomorrow. Bye.